Hey guys, BJ the Brave here, and I have just seen that a balance update has been released by EG, and I actually wanted to just basically go ahead and dive in and take a look with you guys. So this is, to be clear, I have not even read the balance patch yet, so you are seeing my live reaction to it. That could mean that my opinion tomorrow in a few days is very, very different, but I think it's fun sometimes to just like capture a bit of live reaction. So without further ado, let's dive on in. Okay, so interesting, they've decided to title it Pray Your Enemies Away in this month's balance update. That really does speak to some Sisters of Battle's buff, especially when you look at the artwork there as well, that is very nice, by the way. I do like that artwork. Alright, so the theatres of battle in the galaxy never stay the same for long. The warring factions adapt and develop new strategies as their enemies move forward, preparing for the next bout. After gathering the general player sentiment and checking the data in the latest meta report, of which Sisters were doing terrible by the way, this balance patch mostly focused on slightly boosting Adepta Sororitas and lowering the dominance of the Tau Empire. Oh boy. This update will go live very soon. Be prepared by taking a look at the complete list of changes. Here we go. Okay, Adepta Sororitas. So, Raging Storm. Change description to both players start with an extra card. Wow, okay, so this is the offense card that we said was breaking the game and basically stopping you from playing Sisters, especially from playing Junith. And they've completely changed that. They've gone with a whole new idea. Both players start with an extra card. Love that. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Probably suits aggro decks that are playing against Adepta Sororitas. But yeah, I'm just so happy that's changed. So first of all, 10 out of 10 for that change. Well done. Thank you for getting rid of the horrible offense start card. Junith, change talent description to deploy a battle sister. For faith, deploy an additional battle sister. Oh, okay. So nothing's changed in what it does, except for once we've built faith, it deploys an additional one. So it's that kind of spiraling up, plays better into the go wide strategy of Junith. So that's good. I don't know if it's enough, but that's a really positive change. Hold up a second. Battle Sister, change Pray ability to gain +1 melee, +1 range, and +1 heal. Gain +1 melee, +1 range, and +1 and heal 1. Not give 1 additional health, right? So if it's at full health and pray, it doesn't go up. I mean, it is a slight buff, like, because I guess the idea there is you could attack, or it could attack you, and then you can heal again. Yeah, well, they needed all the help they can get. I don't know whether that'll be enough, but cool. Magnifier. Now, this is the 5-drop, isn't it? Yeah, the 5-drop that gives flank when it prays, and it says increase the melee attack from 4 to 5 and the range attack from 3 to 5. Wow, okay, so it used to be a 4-3 melee and range, and now it's going to be a 5-5. That's a good card now, guys. That's a really good card, because it already had a really good pray ability, but it was just too weak to be picked off. And the thing is about that card, right, is that you don't want to be the one attacking, because the whole point is you want to pray and then give things flank, which therefore you need to have even stats. So having a 5-5 means your opponent gets to trade with you, but you can't trick the trade. So I think that's pretty good. I don't know, we'll have to test it, but I like that change. Simulacrum Celestium, increase ranged attack from 3 to 4. So this is the one that can basically pray and give you Warlord buff stats. Again, it's a bit of a... I don't think this makes much difference, because basically what they're doing is they're making it a better statted unit, but then you don't want to swing with those stats anyway. Yeah, okay. Canoness. Change the description to 3F, gain 1 armor. Yes! 6F, gain +2 melee and +2 range. Oh! So basically, they've listened to the feedback and given the armor as the low event one, which is fantastic. I'm super excited about that. And then 6F, it looks like they've, rather than give +1/+1, they're saying give +2/+2. So, that's much better. That's much better. I think the Cannon S might be the kind of stat magnet in the middle of the curve. Dialogus, getting another increase on Dialogus. Increase melee from 3 to 4 and change the description to pray, give a shield to a friendly unit. Ah, okay, so they've gotten rid of the give Vanguard. I wonder if this is my fault, right? Because I came up with the invulnerable Vanguard concept, and I wonder if that's why they've done that. This card is not as good. It's still okay though, and actually getting the buff to stats is nice. Shield is very good, and it really helps with trade. It's a different thing to giving Vanguard. So I think this card overall, I don't know if it's got better or worse, but it's just changed. I think it's morphed in what its use is going to be. So I'm kind of interested to play around with that. Yeah, very interested. Celestian Superior. Change the description to pray, deploy a Celestian, 6F, deploy a Celestian. So basically, this is the giant one that's a 7-drop that puts a Celestian on the board. What they've basically done is say if you've got 6F, you get to deploy basically 2 Celestians. I still think this card is completely unplayable. They've increased the power level of this, but they've kind of missed the point of why this card is a problem. The problem is, I guess the thinking there is, we want the expensive cards to have a payoff, and we want more faith to have a payoff, so it gives you 2 Celestians. The problem is that for a 7-drop, you do not want to be sitting there not swinging with those stats. I just don't think it should be a prey card. I mean, I actually think that the 6F thing, if that said deploy a Celestian and give yourself Vanguard or something like that, so that it would make your stats useful, I think that would make more sense. But I don't know. To be honest, potentially we'll test the card, but I don't think that change is going to make much difference. Interesting. The Mortifier says lower health from 9 to 7. Whoa, that is a big nerf. That's a big nerf on the Mortifier. I really hate that change. One of the things that made the Mortifier a really acceptable unit at that curve was having high health, and often you lose some of that yourself anyway when you're pinging yourself and things like that. So Mortifier's definitely been weakened. The Triumph of St. Catherine changed the prey ability to deal damage to an enemy equal to your faith, instead of drawing the card and reducing its cost. Right, okay, so basically now I would say I really like that change. I really like that change. So what the Triumph of St. Catherine becomes is just like this engine of faith payoff at the end of the game. So if you imagine, like, I've had some games where I've had 11, 12 faith. Well, she can just keep doing 11. She's like Amalia every turn on prey, and therefore you don't really need to swing. She's not sacrificing her stats, and she's removing. This is powerful. This is really, really good, and it has to be removed. So it's kind of got like a soft Vanguard thing to it. Does it still give armor when other people pray? I guess it says it only changes the prey ability, so I'm assuming that armor piece hasn't changed. This is really good now. This looks really good. Exorcist, increase range attack from 8 to 10. Well, that wasn't the problem. And damage, and the damage from faith from 4 to 5. Oh. They haven't addressed the problem. They haven't addressed the problem. The problem with the Exorcist is that you're in the exact same position. You still got to have 8 faith. If you haven't got 8 faith, it's a dead card. If you have, happy days. You just got a little bit of a boost, but I still don't think it's good. Fiery Conviction, interesting. Change the description to give 2 melee to your units for the next turn. If you have 5F, give them an additional 1 melee. Okay, this card now makes much more sense and is a very, very good finisher for if we ever see like a Junith style go wide deck. This was a contradiction of a card before because the extra Faith basically gave like a heal ability, which if you're using it as a finisher, what the hell do you need that for, right? Whereas now what it's saying is your finisher gets even bigger. You can get an extra +1 melee. This could be a potentially scary card, but like I said, it will be very scary if the rest of the archetype works, right? That's the big thing. Next up, we got Relics of St. Catherine. Oh my gosh. Change description to gain 4 faith. If we've got 12F, draw 3 cards. Oh, I love it. I love it. Just put that really high end of game, like this, where this card's dead when you've got all this faith. Like, just give it an option to do something else. Cool. I don't know that this card needed that, but I'm really happy that they've done that, because I think we needed more faith payoff. So, I mean, you're running 2 Relics of St. Catherine anyway. You definitely are now. And the Imperial Creed, change the description to stun 3 random enemies. If you have 5F, refill 3 energy instead of... Okay, so they've just made the refill 3 energy requirement 5F instead of 6F. So basically, if we've got 5 faith, we can stun 3 enemies for... What's it? Is it 2 or 3? I can't remember what this card costs. Okay. Overall, with the Adeptus Sororitas, I think there's some positive changes. I think they've I really like some of these, particularly like the Raging Storm change. I particularly like the St. Catherine change, and I like the Canoness as well. I think they're the biggest ones for me. There's some of them though that I feel like they've missed the mark on still. I'm not sure about the Exorcist. So we'll see. We'll see. Right, the Tau Empire, what have they done? The Drone Companion, lower the cost from 2 to 1. Change the description to ephemeral. Create in your hand a gun drone, guardian drone, or marker drone. Oh my god. This is absolutely huge. That is such a nerf, guys. Oh boy. Right, so now when you think about this, essentially what this is saying is that it costs you 3 energy to deploy a drone instead of 2, right? Because it's cost you 1 to choose, and then it's going to cost you 2 energy to then deploy the drone. So that's essentially what they've done. You can't play a drone turn 1. That has a that's a massive deal. The kind of a Mesos Tempo deck, which was sort of, to be honest, tier 1 last season, that's going to take a big hit there. Dark Strider, lower the melee attack from 3 to 2. Okay. Because he was a 3-3. Now he's like a 2-2-3, so he's got a bit more of a weakness. Structural Analyzer. Oh my god, we're increasing the cost again. It's going up. This used to be 2 energy. It's gone from 2 to 3, and now it's going up to 4. I don't think that was necessary at all. You're never going to see that. You're only ever going to see that being used now at the end of a game. If you draw Dark Strider really late, but... yeah, not sure that was necessary. Stealth Battlesuit, lower the range attack from 5 to 4. Yeah, that's a sensible change, I think. I think that's a change they could have made. It kind of brings it in line with some of the other nerfs that happened last season as well. It was so much value, the Stealth Battlesuit. I think that's a really good change. I'm not sure about the previous 2, but I think that is a good change. Aunshi, lower the range attack from 4 to 3 and the health from 7 to 6. Oof! Oof! Aunshi took a beating. Obviously still comes with a shield, but the Warlord now pings that, and it's a much easier unit to get rid of. Technological Supremacy, we're increasing the cost from 1 to 2, and heal 3 to vehicles or battlesuits instead of healing completely. My god. Oh my god, so it's got hit with a double hammer. So you've made it cost twice as much, and then heal 3 to vehicles or battlesuits instead of completely healing. Does it still go up by 3 if it's a vehicle? I'm not really sure how that works, but if that, the way my brain's reading that now is that it used to fully heal and then add +3 if it was a vehicle or a battlesuit. And it reads to me like it's basically just saying it only heals. Increase the cost 1, 2, and heal 3 to vehicles or battlesuits instead of healing completely. I'm going to have to see the full card on that one. If it's how I'm thinking it is, then it's a dead card, basically. But if it... yeah. it would be a dead card, right? Because doesn't it like give +3? Doesn't it give +3? I've forgotten now. I'm going to have to read the full card on this one. I mean, it looks terrible at first glance. It might not be quite as bad as my brain's imagining that at the minute, but yeah, that's a good card to target. I do agree that this technological supremacy for 1 energy was a real game buster. You put that in a devilfish, for example, that had got down to 1 health, and that's just such a tempo swing for 1 energy. So I do agree that it was one that they could touch, but I don't know whether they've over messed with that. The carry-on tactics increase cost from 1 to 2. Okay. Okay, so now instead of costing 5 energy for the 4E clear, it's now going to cost us 6. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, those last... I'm not sure about the tower. I'm not sure I like the tower just becoming... They feel to me like the tower just getting completely gutted. They kind of lost all the brilliant fun synergies that they had from the last patch, and then they just got good win rates from abusing tempo from good units, and now they're kind of starting to gut those. I don't think there's going to be much left tower, and I'm kind of sad about what the state that they're in, to be honest. Yeah, big changes. Big changes. I think the stealth battle suit is the best change there. And maybe the Cowion's okay. Those I'm not sure about. Ultramarines, Sturguard Sergeant, lower the health from 4 to 3. Yeah, good change. We didn't need that. It gained a health buff. It always used to be 3, but it gained a health buff, then it just made it a 3 drop that had better stats than almost any other 3 drop. It was just insane. So I think that's a good change. It's still a good card. It'll still be played. Primaris Invader, lower range attack from 5 to 4. Okay, so now that there's more vehicle synergies, they've decided to cap that a little bit. And the Chaplain, lower the health from 5 to 4. Ooh. Yeah, Chaplain's being seen everywhere. Avenging Zeal. Oh, I think they've taken Long Tim's. Shout out to Long Tim. I'm sure it was Tim's idea that said increase the cost. So it's gone up from 8 to 10, just because it can obviously come down. So by raising the starting cost to 10 now, you'll never pay 10 obviously for it, but by doing that, it's just harder to get it down to like 0. Light cover, increase cost from 0 to 1. Okay. Okay. I can't remember what light cover does, to be honest. Oh, interesting. So, I mean, yeah, good changes. I think the Ultramarines needed a bit of reining in. They might need some more reining in now that the expansion's landed, but they're probably not going to change those cards yet because they've only just come out. So that will certainly help a little bit this season. Necrons. Okay, Divination men here. Change the description to your next stratagem cost 1 less instead of 2. Okay. I mean, this is super busted, men here, so it's hard to argue that... it's hard to argue with that, to be honest. But, you know, Necrons weren't like completely dominating the meta, so you look at it from that perspective, but I do think that that was a very, very busted defense card. The Curse of Pharaoh, change the description to give vulnerable 2 to all troops instead of vulnerable 3. Wow. So the Curse, I mean, the Curse is so powerful, right? It's such a powerful card, and it's such an it's such an AoE card. But this card started out, when I started playing this game, as being vulnerable 4, then it went to vulnerable 3, and now it's vulnerable 2. So, is it still worth it? I don't know. That's quite a big change. It's quite a big change. And Immortal Pride has increased its cost from 5 to 6. Very interesting. I don't know whether they're going to touch the Orkz, but it's interesting. They haven't. I was just thinking, comparing it to the armor card. So Immortal Pride's gone from 5 to 6. Okay, so the Goth Ork's huge chopper no longer grants concussive to your Warlord. Oh, that's a massive, massive change. Gordrang has been hit with an huge chopper. Maybe he's smashed himself on the head and he's forgotten how to do the concussive bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, 2 energy to turn it into a huge chopper is still pretty good. But what it does do now is it no longer just stuns your enemy from being able to retaliate or pray or any of those things. That's a really big change. It's a really big change. That makes like the Terror, for example. Terror's ability much better than Use Chopper now. But it's, don't get me wrong, for 2 energy, essentially always being able to attack for 4 is still useful. But that's a real big toning down. That is a massive toning down of Gordrang. And I think that probably makes Ghazghkull the man again in the old Goth Orkz. Okay, what else have we got? Some trait changes. Stealth. An attacking unit loses stealth immediately. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense instead of keeping it for 1 turn after it attacks. Do you know what? I don't know about the game, but just purely from a theme perspective, that makes so much more sense. Note that this change will be released in a few days separately from the rest of the balance patch, as it cannot be changed remotely. Okay, so the balance patch is going to happen probably today, and then the stealth thing's going to come later. These changes will be implemented in the game soon. Adapt your decks, strategies to reign and spring. Good luck in the meta. Okay, cool. Okay, so it does definitely not as big as last month's, but it does shake things up. I'm really excited to play some more sisters. I still think ultramarines will be strong. I've got a pretty good Agarius deck that's been doing well, and I'm also really keen to play some Ghazghkull control this season, and it doesn't look like my deck will be affected at all by that. So yeah, overall happy. Let's see whether the sisters, let's see what happens to the sisters. Do we think that sisters now are going to be good enough to compete? I don't know. We'll have to see. I definitely think the nerf to Raging Storm is going to make a big difference. I still think they struggle in the early, you know, the kind of 1 to 4 E units are still massively underpowered, so they'll probably still struggle a bit in terms of getting overrun by sort of super fast tempo decks, marines and things like that. But I definitely think they've made, you know, some good changes in there. It'll be a matter of whether I think they'll make a massive difference. I think the main differences will be Raging Storm and the Canoness change, and the Celeste, and maybe the Triumph of St. Catherine. A lot of the others, I'm not sure that they'll really be enough to change the meta, but I could be wrong, so we'll have to see. There you go, guys. That is literally me reading that for the first time. Literally my reaction. Thanks for coming along the journey with me. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you in the next one.